Well, so it is 1:45 p.m., give or take. I've been going since about 4 in the morning because I'm a madman. But we are running the first Warhammer 40,000 tournament of the new year. Yeah, we've designated this as For Honor instead of For Glory.
What's the difference?
For Honor is for funsies, For Glory is for prizes.
I see. So there's no prizes in this tournament?
No.
Good.
The prizes are the satisfaction of knowing you won.
Do you think having prizes or not would affect who shows up?
Not really.
Okay.
Not with this group.
Well, that's why I'm questioning.
Yeah,
that's actually what I'm asking is, if we had made this a 4-prize tournament, do you think that people would have come who wouldn't normally come just to get some prizes?
No, because of the way that we set it up to say, well, we go on our Facebook group and we go on our Discord and we're like, hey, we're doing this event, and we open it up to the people who are regulars here first.
Gotcha.
So we give them right of first refusal, and then we open it up to everybody else.
So if Joey McPowergamer from Kansas wants to fly here to win a $200 box or something like that, you would have said no, even if we'd had prizes.
Yeah, pretty much. I probably would have told him, well, if you can guarantee you're going to be here and get in early enough, yeah, sure. But if you can't, sorry, Charlie, there's always next month.
Alrighty. So this is going to be a monthly thing then?
Bi-monthly.
Bi-monthly. That makes more sense.
January, March, May, etc. Every odd month is going to be 40K. Every even-numbered month is going to be Age of Sigmar.
And Age of Sigmar is run by our good friend Kevin, right?
Yes.
Awesome. Well, maybe we'll talk to him.
He is in the command position for that at the moment.
Yes.
So, yeah, hey, let's go back inside.
All right, I'll follow you.
Our 16-player tournament featured an impressive array of armies from all factions. We had 2 Sisters of Battle players, 1 Custodes, 1 Salamander, 1 Ultramarine, a Grey Knight, an Imperial Knight army, 3 Death Guard players, 1,000 Suns, a Necron, a Tau, a Tyranid, and an Orc. Playing at 1,500 points in 2-hour rounds kept things running smoothly, and the missions were out of the 2021 GT book. For those of you watching in the future, GT 2022 wasn't out yet, so it was still 5 points per primary at this point. Fantasy Games was kind enough to provide all the terrain seen and the battle mats played on, and of course the play space, community, and all that sort of stuff. If you're interested in picking up any of the terrain that you see in the game, you can do so at lasercraftworkshop.com and support Fantasy Games indirectly. The first mission we played was Overrun. This was a domination mission with the progressive objective of controlling 2, 3, and more objectives than your opponent. It had a secondary objective of controlling 1 or more of the objective markers that were within the opponent's territory for a total of 2, 3, and 5 victory points.
So how many rounds is this?
This is a 3-round tournament.
Okay.
This is round 1. The missions are determined ahead of time by me.
Yep.
The terrain layouts are the same that you get at any regular GW tournament. The scoring is mostly normal. You know, secondaries are secondaries, primaries are primaries. With the exception of, we do not, at this tournament right now, have a full painted rule. That is only for tiebreakers. However, when we do our For Glory tournaments, if it's not painted, you don't get them 10 points.
All right. So yeah, we're not enforcing that today.
We're not enforcing that today.
So will the rest of the tournaments you do throughout the year be For Glory, aka prize support, or are you
I think it's going to be 1 on, 1 off, depending on how the turnout is for the Glory campaign or tournament. Then we'll see if people like the more relaxed For Honor, just funsies tournament. Then we'll go more with that. But we don't have enough data to go on right now, so
data gathering.
Yeah.
All right.
The tournament continued unabated, moving on to our second mission. Now, these missions were selected ahead of time with the intent of making them particularly difficult and scoring heavy to avoid any simple tabling victories. Mission 2 was Priority Target, which was a take and hold objective, similar to the Domination one, where the objectives were to control 1, 2, or more objectives than your opponent. Likewise, the secondary objective of priority target saw you scoring 3 victory points if you control either of the priority objective markers that were selected earlier in the game, or 5 if you controlled both of them at the end of your turn. Our attempt to make these scoring heavy was only mostly successful, as evidenced by Kevin and Jessica's game, but these things do happen. In spite of that, everyone had good, solid matchups. So, let's check in on the aftermath of round 2 with our local Age of Sigmar organizer, Kevin.
All right, this is Kevin. Kevin, you just played round 2.
Sure did.
We're only halfway through round 2, so what happened?
So it was my Death Guard versus Jessica's Grey Knights, and Grey Knight, I did not get first turn. Grey Knights have a lot of mobility, and I'm playing a very slow Death Guard army, so the way that she was able to move around my army and put firepower on it and put pressure on me from sides that I couldn't easily react to, and take out the few fast elements that I had, was really it was really key to hemming me in and keeping me from scoring any points this game.
So this is you play a lot of tournaments, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you're probably going to go to Adepticon. Are you playing in the...
I'm not playing 40k at Adepticon, but I'm going to Adepticon, yeah.
So does the 1,500 point format that we're doing here, kind of weird for a tournament?
It is.
Did that affect your list or the way the game went?
It absolutely did.
Okay.
So the way that it affected my list is I wasn't able to bring any of the screening units I would typically bring, and so that really made the mortal wounds go right for my heart. And so that really was able to remove a lot of stuff earlier than it normally would against an army that had a lot of mortal wound output, because usually screening units can absorb a lot of that. In this case, I wasn't able to bring my Poxwalkers just because I couldn't take out any of the hard-hitting stuff that I had to sacrifice for screening units. So it was kind of a gamble I took that if I ran into a matchup like that I was going to end up what happened here.
Yeah. So your first game, who did you play against in your first game?
I played against Thousand Suns.
And that one you won?
Yes.
So that's interesting because Thousand Suns are also a mortal wound-based output army.
They are. They didn't have the mobility that the Grey Knights have access to.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it wasn't just the mortals. It was the mortals and then not being able to.
Because I was able to. Because in the Thousand Suns game, I was still able to pick out key elements before they were able to get to me to threaten me. Whereas in the Grey Knight game, everything was able to start back there, and then I suddenly had 2 Nemesis Dread Knights in my face, and that made my life really hard. And there was a little bit of bad luck on my part because I had made one of my own vehicles explode. One Dread Knight was left on 1 wound, and I was able to do 1 mortal wound that it was needed to kill that last Dread Knight, and she made her 5 up. So it is what it is.
So if you had to do your list building again, and you knew that you were going to face that exact kind of list, would you make any changes to your list?
If I knew that was going to be a matchup I would have, yes, I would make some changes. This would not be the list I would bring in that matchup, knowing that ahead of time.
Would you have replaced one of your hard hitters with some kind of screening?
I probably would have replaced one of my bloat drones with some Poxwalkers.
Yeah.
Just to provide some protection, and because again in that particular matchup the bloat drones aren't super effective in any way. They don't hit anything particularly hard, and they can't react in a way that they can against most armies against Grey Knights.
Because of the psychic powers?
Because of the psychic powers, usually the bloat drones they're usually vanguards of my army, so they're out in front. So they're getting even in front of Poxwalkers and stuff. So they're going to get knocked out early regardless.
Yeah. Going to eat mortal wounds in the face.
Right.
All right. Well, thank you for telling us how it goes. Are you having fun?
Oh yeah, it's a great time.
Yeah. So we were just talking about earlier in the video with CJ about this is a for honor as opposed to for glory. What do you think as far as how that changes who comes? In your experience in tournament play, does that change who shows up?
So, I'm a weird bird, so maybe I'm not the right person to ask about this. I would have paid to enter this tournament even if I knew there was no prize support.
Oh, sure.
But I think that I don't think it changes who comes. I definitely think that it might change the atmosphere a little bit.
Maybe change the list building?
Perhaps. I think people, when they come to a tournament, they know they're playing 3 games, they're still going to bring their best game. Even, they're going to bring the toys they want to play with, regardless of, what the nature of the tournament is. I think what it does change is willing to give people more leeway with oh, you moved that guy a little bit far, can we go back and adjust this? Oh, I forgot to do this, can I go back and do that? Stuff like that. That kind of, I think it changes the nature of the tournament in that regard, but I don't think that it changes what lists come to the table.
Yeah. Okay, that makes sense. Would you still play if it was a for prizes tournament?
Oh yeah, 100.
Alrighty. Well, thanks a lot.
No problem.
Good luck in your third round. Maybe we'll touch base with you after that.
All right.
May the Dread Father be with you and all that stuff.
Finally, we came to Mission 3, and in spite of the strange lateral deployment, everyone was back at the boards without delay. Mission 3 was Surround and Destroy, which was once again a take and hold progressive objective mission, with the secondary objective being to score 4 victory points at the end of your command phase, and at the end of the battle if you control both the objective markers in your deployment zone and 1 or more of the objective markers in your opponent's deployment zones, with the option to score 8 victory points instead of 4 if you control all 4 objective markers at the end of the game. So of all the things to use, we had a foosball app that helped us determine our positioning and ranking, manned by Derek to make sure the matchups were based on scoring. In spite of this, Jess's Grey Knights went up against Death Guard 3 times in a row, and the 2 Sisters players ended up squaring off in the final round. As they say, it's not perfect system. Anyway, let's check in on the final results.
Baker. Close. Number 15 is Garrett. Right. Back in here. Number 14, who has already run off because he has a child to deal with. Kevin Kucharski, so good for him. 13, other Evan. Lucky number, not so lucky number 12, Andrew Lone. Yeah. Number 11 is Jay Hartley. Nice. Number 10, Austin. Well done. Yeah. Yeah, number 9, steamrolling everybody with those friggin' Tyranids. Zander. Nice. Number 8, Dylan. Not bad for a new that's right? Yeah. There's a lot of reading. Number 7, Jessica. I'm sorry you played Death Guard 3 times. It's not my fault. It took 3 tries to beat it. The other woman in the house, Eloise, you're number 6. Number 5, Ryan. Yeah. Go you. Draw 1. Jump the dog. Draw 1. Number 4, Logan. Take a shower. Everybody go home. Take a shower. Number 3, James. Bring up down very good. Number 2, John Murray. I don't see him.
Oh, he left.
No, he left. All right, well, number 2 left already, so you're 4 minutes in this position. Everybody goes up 1. Bad got the big one. And number 1 with a bullet. Completely undefeated again. Yes. Sort of. Red Valley, everybody. Thank you all for coming out. Thank you all for being good players and not the dirtbags that everybody thinks that us war gamers are, proving us differently.
Hello.
Our unofficial team.
I see.
Derek and Aaron here. Keeping it straight and narrow. Derek's responsible for making the brackets, and Aaron is here for esprit de corps.
Awesome. How much are you guys getting paid?
As much as I am.
Hey, let's give a thanks to our judges and our organizers.
Thank you, Derek, for spending your whole freaking day watching other people have fun. You gotta go to foosball app. Who'd have thunk it? One final announcement to make. There's not going to be a 40k tournament next month. That has gone to the AOS folks. That's run by Kevin. If you play AOS, like our cameraman over here, you're going to have a lot of fun. That's going to be on the 5th. We're still working on the date for the March tournament.
It won't conflict with Adepticon, we promise.
Will not conflict with Adepticon because half of the people who work here will not be here. That being said, that one is going to be a For Glory tournament. That is going to be a paid entry fee. There is probably going to be some prize support. If you're good, you might even get a trophy.
You will lose. Good day, sir.
You want more terrain? We can probably arrange that. Okay, well, maybe terrain is in the, you have to fight over it and play on it, but we'll see what happens.
Thanks to everyone who came out, and thanks to everyone who watched this video. As always, like, comment, and subscribe, and we'll see you for the next tournament.